Now, when you configure a Gmail, and this can also be done on other providers like even Yahoo or Outlook, a lot of business clients will either use Outlook or Gmail or G Suite. So you can set up it's called an alias, so that way the email looks like it's coming from, or it actually is coming from the domain-based email. So on Gmail, you just go here to Settings, then you click See All Settings, and it's right here, Accounts and Import. And what you'll do is Send Mail As. You can see this one's already set up. Right here, any mail sent from this email is going to come from ncastillo@castleclaimsconsultants.com. And I made that the default, which is the last step. So the first step is you would click Add Another Email Address. Then right here, we would put in the ncastillo@castleclaimsconsultants.com. I'll just use this one just to show you. Next step. This has to be the same as that. So this is right. It'll be mail dot whatever domain you're working at, and this needs to be the full address. Like that. And then you'll input the password that you created when you set up the email on the server. So you'll need that password for here, but when you click that, then you click Add Account. If you get an error code, just let me know what it is, or you can also try switching the security, but it should be set up the way it needs to be, and we may need to update something with the site if you have an error code. But it should go right through, and then once that is done, then you'll go to the inbox, and you will have received a Google confirmation. So you can see right here, this says you've requested to add this to your Gmail account, and here's your confirmation code. You would copy that, and right after you hit confirm on that last step that I just showed you, it would have a box saying, okay, email set up. Please receive your confirmation code at this email address, which will now go to the Gmail. So when you receive it, you copy this, and then you would paste it into that box, and this setup would be complete. Once that setup's complete, you'd go back to the settings, accounts and import, and it would still have this one as the default. So you would go to this one and click, it would say make default here. You'd click make default. And then you can just go back to your inbox, and the Gmail will now receive all messages sent to this domain-based email address. And when he composes an email or replies, it will come from this domain-based email address because it's listed as the default. Now, if he ever wants to send a Gmail from his Gmail account, you can see right here as Castillo Claims. That's who it's going to come from, but you can see this is now a drop down. He can select for it to come from the Gmail if he would like to. So it gives him the flexibility to still use the Gmail if someone had that set up.